I think I used to think commitment meant sacrifice. It's not necessary to kind of punish yourself in the pursuit of a career. So where before I wouldn't have pursued something like this, for example, directing, producing, anything like that. I used to feel that it might jeopardize my acting career because I started as an actor. Now I recognize that all the different facets of me would be starved without me pursuing those things and allowing myself to grow in those areas. So commitment is allowing the exploration to pursue all the different avenues of being in this industry of production, because I know it's going to make me a better artist. It's going to make me a better actor if I direct. It's going to make me a better actor if I produce. Then it's going to, it's all going to feed into each other. And, when it comes specifically to acting, it's living, honestly. It's recognizing that I can only draw from a well that's full.
Scene is not just a podcast. It is a movement dedicated to amplifying the voices, experiences, and stories of women shaping the film and photography industries. We're going to dive deep into the soul work that these women undertake every day to pursue their dreams, passions, and to breathe life into their creativity. And all while fostering and nurturing a thriving community among women in our field. I'm Nolani Hernandez Melo, a creative photographer, director, and curator based in Los Angeles, and I am deeply honored to share this space with you as your host and creator of Scene, where women behind the lens take center stage. Hey guys, I'm excited to share a little bonus episode with you with someone very close to me and a big part of this project, the producer and a dear friend. I've known her since high school. Shout out Laksa. Look at us. We're doing it. We're still creatives. But this is a little moment with Karina Noelle Castillo.
Hello.
So, custom with Scene, I have an intro for you, señorita.
Okay.
I am so happy to welcome as today's guest, Karina Noelle Castillo, a Los Angeles-based actor, producer, director, writer, and entrepreneur. With a rich 20-year career in film, television, and theater, we shared the stage together. Karina brings a unique blend of creativity and advocacy to her roles, pushing boundaries in storytelling to highlight underrepresented voices. Karina, an alumna of the Los Angeles County High School of the Arts and California Institute of the Arts, has appeared in shows like Lincoln Lawyer, The Good Doctor, and in films such as Holidays and Missing. She is the co-founder and CEO of Courtyard Entertainment, LLC, where she drives innovative projects that elevate diverse narratives through podcasts like Scene, short films, and acting services. Karina's dedication to authentic storytelling has earned her accolades such as the Mexican-American Cultural Education Foundation Filmmaker Production Grant and recognition as a second rounder in the Screencraft Film Fund Grant. Her thriller script, The Wall, showcases her ability to weave socially resonant narratives, debuting in the top 13% of the short thriller projects in Coverfly. As the producer of this podcast, Karina's profound influence and unwavering support has been instrumental, and I tell her all the time, in bringing not just this podcast, but these stories to life. And the waterworks are going to start. Her commitment to our mission not only enriches this project, but also amplifies, as I say, the voices and experiences that need to be heard, seen, and felt. Today, we are not only here to celebrate her impressive career, but also her vital role in this podcast and series. It is an honor to share this space with you, Karina, and to dive into the impactful work you continue to do. Welcome, amiga. ¿Cómo estás?
Hi. I think you added that last part to my bio.
I did.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be on the other side of this. I have been lucky enough to be a part of this project and, to see how it's grown. And I am so excited to see how you've grown and how you've changed as a host and as a person. And I'm just very, very grateful that you asked me to be involved.
I am just damn lucky you said yes. and that you show up. You show up every day. You show up in ways that motivate me and push me to show up and to really it's a relationship. I see how much you put into it, and it makes me a better creator and creative and artist and just like director, and just really honor the work. And it has helped me also see the beauty of this work, you know, because it just started as an idea, as an exhibition, and sharing it with you from the concept and the idea and hearing you resonate with it. Sometimes that's all we need to feel, to know that we're on the right trajectory. And guys, we've been working on this for probably a year now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's you guys are seeing the fruits of our labor. And shout out to Lucha Media Studios, our homies, Ant over there on the cams.
Shout out to
and Izzo's upstairs, and Brian is in the room too. But all of this wouldn't be possible without your amazing contribution and Lucha helping us here with the space. So let's dive in, Karina.
Let's do it.
First question, Karina. Your multifaceted career is driven by a deep mission to amplify underrepresented voices. Can you share how your personal inner work and reflective practices have shaped this commitment to authentic storytelling?
Wow. Starting off big.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think I really have to acknowledge how much of an impact my upbringing had. My parents, who are brilliant, smart, kind, empathetic, talented, loving people and loving parents in particular. And I think their way of raising me and my siblings gave us the freedom to talk about our feelings, to be self-reflective. They made space for our emotions and our confusion and our mistakes. And there have been a lot for me. But what's good about that is that because I was given the space to do that and continue to be given the space to do that, it allows for self-reflection and work and trying to be better. And I think in the arts, one of the things that I love about it so much, film in particular, but all of the arts, is that it's an extension of the soul. It's an extension of the self. So when you are watching something or listening to something like a podcast, you are able to listen to people like you and recognize that you're not alone.
Yes.
And the impact of that, it just makes waves throughout the world. Yeah. And I feel like if I can be a tiny part of that, if I can do that with one person, I can die happy, because I know what it's like to sit and watch a movie or listen to a podcast and think, oh my God, I'm not the only one. Absolutely. You know, and I feel like I'm okay. And so I would like to create work that gives people that feeling. I hope that I can accomplish that.
I mean, you saying yes to this project was essentially that, me showing up to you that, hey, I have this idea, I have this feeling, I have these thoughts, and you recognizing like, hey, yeah, there's space for that is a big part of why we're here. So you know, this is living and breathing proof of you to that, you know, committing to that commitment. Thank you.
And if there isn't space for it, this is important that we make it.
Absolutely.
If there isn't anything like it, that it can't be a message to say, well, no, you shouldn't do that because there's no market for that. Well, nobody wants to listen to women's experiences. No, we're going to make that space because it's needed. Absolutely. That's why when you talked to me about this project, I immediately thought, oh my God, I bet so many people would listen to that. So many women, not just creatives, but just women who are in the workplace, who are also at home feeling, you know, taking care of the house and taking care of the kids, feeling like there's a space where we can share our thoughts and feelings and challenges in a way that is, especially because you're such an amazing host, a space that is really safe for us. So yeah, we have to make that, we have to carve that channel.
I absolutely agree. And it's true that we set that intention. We're like, and that's why we always start like, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement.
Yeah.
This is something bigger than ourselves. And then this is us modeling that we can make that space.
Yep.
You mentioned your parents at the beginning, and because I've known you for a little while now, I have seen the impact of also they come from these fields, they come from these industries, and not just only that, they were also like leaders of Chicano and Latinos in these industries.
Yeah. Can
Can you share a little bit of insight of how that has guided you in your path?
Yeah. Well, because my parents are in the industry, I grew up in a way very privileged to have parents who support me, who get it. You know, so many of us, and especially coming from Latino families or families of color, there's a lot of people that don't have parents who are supportive of their pursuit of the arts.
Yeah.
And I am so lucky, and I really feel very, very privileged to have that, to have parents who not only support me, but in times where I feel like, oh, it's never gonna happen and it's not working out for me. They're the ones who are like, no, you gotta keep going. And I'm trying to go, no, I gotta get a real job, guys. Like,
You're the one saying,
yeah, it's like flipped around. But you know, I think everything that I have that I feel is strong comes from them. And naturally, you know, we have our own experiences and that helps us grow. But ultimately, their strength is channeled through me, as are all of my ancestors.
Yeah.
You know, all of us carry that within us.
Absolutely.
And that continues to ripple forward. And, you know, in the industry, it's you know, there's talk a lot about Nepo babies and all of that right now. And I always hear that and I go, that's so funny. I don't know what else we're supposed to, I mean, you know, my dad's not Tom Cruise or anything, but I don't know what else we're supposed to do exactly. Like we get very, it's the family business, you know?
Yeah, it's like living and breathing every single day from your inception. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, my experience growing up in the industry too, I could have very easily been like, oh, it's too much art.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of kids who do that. They grow up in the family business and they're like, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be an accountant, you know, and they're expected to. And I was lucky enough and unlucky enough to fall in love with it, you know, and it's definitely something that all artists, you know, recognize, I think, within themselves, that it's not something that you choose to do. It's something that you're called to do. So I get to call my dad and be like, I have an audition. And he tells me about his. We showed up to the same audition at one point. We looked at each other and went, what are you doing here? So I get to share that with my family, which brings us closer together. So yeah, there's a lot of really, really positive things about it.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that some of your practices or personal rituals that you do to get through those hard times. You know, besides your parents telling you like, no, you got to keep in it. Like, what do you personally have to do or have discovered that you do now to keep your skin in the game and to keep you going when you love this so much?
Yeah, therapy. Lots of therapy. You know, for a long time, I didn't have a lot of friends that were involved in the industry who were artists. I was in the restaurant industry for a really long time. And so they would hear about things that I was doing and be like, I don't understand. So you're auditioning, but you're not getting paid for it. And, you know, they supported me, but having community that's involved in the same things that you're involved in really makes a difference. And I love those friends dearly. But it just it gives it that little extra support when you have people who know what it's like. So I have a really strong community of people who are artists, comedians, directors, writers, actors, other actors, photographers who know what it's like to be in it. And that makes a big difference. And also, you know, it helps, I think, when I was really young, right before I turned 20, I remember saying to myself, this is your marriage. I'm married now, so that's my actual spouse. But you know, that I had to treat it like that. That some years it's going to be harder than others. And some years I'm not going to want to do it. And some years I'm all in, and it's going to have its ups and downs. But ultimately, if I decide that this is, I'm always going to be an artist, but in the pursuit of a career, if I decide I'm in, then I need to be in 100%.
Committed. Commitment.
Yeah. Ooh. I didn't get a ring out of it or anything, but you know, maybe
we get
later.
Our credits. We get our credits.
Exactly.
Our bylines, our credits.
Yeah.
Commitment. How does that look to you, being committed to this work?
I think I used to think commitment meant sacrifice. And with years doing the job and also just years on earth, I recognize that sacrifice is not necessarily something that has to be virtuous. It's not necessary to kind of punish yourself in the pursuit of a career. So where before I wouldn't have pursued something like this, for example, directing, producing, anything like that. I used to feel that it might jeopardize my acting career because I started as an actor. Now I recognize that all the different facets of me would be starved without me pursuing those things and allowing myself to grow in those areas. So commitment is allowing the exploration to pursue all the different avenues of being in this industry of production, because I know it's going to make me a better artist. It's going to make me a better actor if I direct. It's going to make me a better actor if I produce. Then it's going to, it's all going to feed into each other. And, you know, when it comes specifically to acting, it's living, honestly. It's recognizing that I can only draw from a well that's full. And I can't do that if I don't live my life, if I don't go out and have experiences. And, you know, all the hard work stuff of like, I got to sit down and learn my lines and go forwards and backwards and all the things. And, you know, but it's especially when it gets hard as well, as going, you know, it's not always going to be hard. So just commit to the next day.
And you mentioned, you know, that in the past you wouldn't have committed to something like this. So I think that's a great segue into like, girl, why'd you commit to this? Tell me how you really feel.
Well, to be clear, I wouldn't have committed not because of the project itself, but because, like I said, I thought that if I were to become a director, you know, not necessarily that I would be successful, but even just trying it out, that it would mean, oh, I failed as an actor.
Absolutely.
That I failed. Which is, now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I was trapped in that prison for so long.
Do you feel like that little whisper or like don't, because it's gonna take, do you think that voice was getting a little bit louder as you got older? Like, oh, it's not safe to pivot, like not to try new things, or what was, at least for me, that was the energy. Because I used to pivot a lot. I'm also Sagittarius. So I'm like, I want to try that. But as I got older and got into my 30s, and I would say from 30 to 35, that voice of like, pivot, like, what? Again? Like, now I'm like, So what was that for you? I
had the opposite. I was so, don't do anything else. You know, okay. I wouldn't get haircuts that I wanted because I didn't want to look different than my headshots. And like, it was so much about, if I'm going to follow this path, I have to only follow this path, that pivoting was not something that I felt was available to me. And also that it meant I had failed as an actor. The thing that changed was, I took a position, well, I would do things here and there. Like my mom is very formidable woman. She's a publisher. She has a festival. She's got a television show. She's done a lot, but I would always help her out with different things, different production things, and doing her website and stuff. And so I started doing more of that, and people heard that I did that. So then they would call me, and I would just go, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And that gave me a good foundation to then, when I did get into my 30s, I took a job where I was the artistic director of an art space.
Okay.
So we used to rent out different rehearsal spaces, kind of like this, you know, open space. They would come in, they would rent the thing, they would rent the space. And I just remember feeling like, oh, I can do this. And not only can I do this, but I can make it work. And I was lucky enough to have the owner of the company, you know, kind of be a mentor for me and empowered me as well. And I just thought, if I can do this, I can do this on my own. And why would I keep myself in a prison of not exploring this? If I can, maybe I should. Yeah. And then it just kind of went from there, and I found myself in spaces where people wanted to work with me. Thank God. And you know, and the skills just grew from there. And there's so much more that I need to learn. But now I'm not scared of doing it, because I'm noticing at the same time, the production side is growing. Yeah. My acting is growing. Yeah. Which I never thought would happen. So that was great.
Yeah. This is beautiful to hear, like that, just allowing yourself to come out of your shell or those parameters you had created for yourself. Because one just doesn't know what will reveal itself until we allow, or I think even for me, and, you know, as I was saying, like a little rabbit bouncing from idea to idea, and that's just the energy and the essence of my curiosity. But, you know, even just for me to say that now, like it took a really long time for me to accept that I am a very curious person, and that there's also, I think there's a lot of shame or shade thrown at people who are hyper hyphenated. Yeah, for sure. Or you know, dabble in this and that. But especially in our industry, in the arts, I would say, there's benefits to understanding and to exploring and to at least giving it a go at all these different departments or projects or mediums. Because like you said, it all informs each other. Yeah. And you do grow. You do grow as an actor, because now you're directing, or vice versa. And so,
and I think if you have something to say, you know, when you were reading my bio and you did get to the actor, I went, oh God, you know, because you do like, you have that like, wow, that's a lot of stuff there that like, are you really? But the more that I explored those things, the more that I was able to say, wait, yeah, but I do have this thing. Yeah. So by denying that, then I don't know what good that does.
I don't know. We have to dim ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's what I do. Yeah. I just saw a video portrait of this woman, and she's a DJ, designer, creative director. And in the portrait, she says like, they have her do her intro, like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a da-da-da-da. And she goes, yeah, I do a lot of things, and I just do me. Yeah. And when she closed with that, I was like, yeah, you just do you. And that's, no one has the right to take that from you. No level of position they have, or, you know, power. Like, they can't take us down from all the things we do. And actually, just a little thing I want to share. When I did Scene, the exhibition, I was a curator, and it was a group exhibition showcasing 10 female photographers I had met in my time here in the industry. It was asked if I was going to show work in it, and at first I was like, no, I'm the curator. Like, and a good friend of mine encouraged, or actually didn't just encourage me, told me, like, that's the only way you can do it. They were part of the space, and said the only way you can do it is if you also commit to making work. And they also know me and knew that I had not made personal work in a while as an artist. And the piece I ended up doing, I called it the 4 Directions.
I love that one.
Yes, and it's probably on my Instagram, I think. And I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a mujer medicina. I do Mexica ancestral medicine, and I would say that when I made that work is actually when I was beginning just the process of recommitting to my practice and honoring these traditions. So the 4 Directions it's a self-portrait. I'm also honoring, like radically accepting that I love, when I do art, I love reflecting and looking inward, and they're all self-portraits.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sometimes still a feel in me like, oh my God, that's so like, you're so into it. Like, and like, no, it's turning the mirror on myself and being like, let's explore. But that piece in itself is 5 images. And in the center was Nalani and me in my essence and in the outfits. And then at the 4 different directions, I have these 4 facets of me, these 4 essences of me, my hyper, in words of like artist, mom, the mother, the artist, the lover, and la curandera.
Yeah.
And they were all in Spanish. But I share that just to say like that, making that piece in itself was a ritual and a commitment, and saying to myself, these all exist and they're all authentic. And the reason I'm in the center is because that's the core of who I am.
Yeah.
And I think, even now with Scene, creating this space and working with someone just like you who is not afraid to honor, like I have all these other channels to express myself, because at the end it's still me. And so when I wanted to expand this into a different format through medicine work, plática, the power of a plática, which is heart sharing and talk, the power of that, it was just like, we need to hear each other and share and be in dialogue, because that is what's going to help us all leaps and bounds and grow. And so let's dive into now Scene and you being a part of this. I have a couple questions that
to adjust my foot. Sorry.
Yeah. As as the producer of this show, and I've seen it and I've witnessed it and experienced it, what do you feel is your responsibility into like nurturing this space as we get ready to put it out into the world?
Yeah, I think there's different levels to it. I mean, as a whole, I'd like to present this piece as elevated, in an elevated form as it deserves. I feel like my responsibility is to sort of facilitate the nurturing space that you've opened up, to continue on in the effort of hearing these women, supporting these women, joining these women in their challenges and their triumphs. There's all the logistical stuff when it comes to producing, but really as overall, I think for me, my dream is to be able to present this to women at the highest level and for them to go, wow, that's a really amazing show that you guys have put together, because this is the kind of message that deserves that kind of recognition. You created something that not only deserves to be seen, but deserves to be supported. Yeah. And that's, I see myself as that, as like, I'm here to go, yep, I got you. Yeah. I'll carry it with you,
And you absolutely have. We had a little moment before in between episodes, in between takes today, and we were talking about that feeling of like, when us as artists, creatives, that awe-striking feeling, and it hits you out of nowhere, like it did earlier today. Yeah. Were the realization of like, this was just an idea in our mind. Yeah. This was just a meeting on notes on Google Doc. And now we are recording, the final episode. Yeah. And launching in a couple of weeks, and it's real.
Yeah.
And there's a whole plethora of emotions that come in, you know, first like proud, then you're just excited, and then also like, oh, it's almost over. I don't want it to be over, because it's, you know, with projects, especially self-funded projects, we don't know what happens, you know. But
excitement for the unknown, to see what happens afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about why you said yes? What was it about this? When I shared the idea of Scene and the podcast that drew you into this project?
Well, one, you and I have known each other for a long time. So if I'm gonna be in this space, this entertainment space, this art space, this, you know, whatever you want to call it, I want to work with people I know, that I want to support, that I want to see thrive and grow. And I want to, you know, see people on television and go, I know her. And that's, you know, that's I think the biggest reason is because I want to support my community and my people. And that goes to friends, that goes to women, that goes to Latinos, people of color, all the, you know, all the things that we are and that we represent. And I love the message. I, in particular, all of my projects that I have under my production company are focused on mental health and mental health awareness. There's some kind of level of wellness in it. Because I just find that you know, film in particular, because that's my love, but podcasts as well. Clearly, it's such an amazing medium to spread that message. I mean, what an incredible platform. So that as well. And it's a challenge, you know, it's always a challenge. Like, oh, great. Okay, we're going to build this thing as best as we can with, you know, the resources that we have. And I love a challenge. So
has this been really affirming for you? Because it has been for me, just like much love and gratitude to, I call them los hermanos.
Yeah.
You know, Israel, Anthony, and Ryan, because we wouldn't be here physically. We wouldn't be recording. Look at these cameras over there.
This one.
And this microphone without their help at Lucha Media. But just this process, even from a logistical, from production level of, and also self-funding it ourselves, like, has it been affirming for you of just like, damn, I can do this?
Hell yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And for me also, that we feel alone, but we never accomplish anything 100% on our own. We may be standing somewhere by ourselves, but the mere fact that we are standing there, someone along the way helped us get to that point.
Yep.
And this project and series, and is why I want to put this semillita out there and plant it into the ether, that I am praying and visualizing that this is just the beginning for this, because it has been just magic and so healing. And I want to identify, like, I have had experiences where men have told me that, you know, they're making space for me because I'm a woman, or that I should feel like gracious. And it's like, no, this is living proof of like, we fucking did the work, you know. We did the work, we bought the things, we built the things, we asked for help. And so I just wanted to share that with you and echo that this has been such a validating experience of our value as women creatives in these industries.
Absolutely.
And as Latinas, because every time we do this, we're always like, is it too Latina?
I know. That's just our circle, guys.
But that's who we are.
Yeah.
And I am so blessed that our ancestors are guides. Who would have known? The hallways of Laksa.
I know.
You know, while we're being little thespians, you know, that
I brought my blacks today.
that we'd be here.
Yeah.
You know.
I also, before we move on, if we're ending, I would just also want to say that one, this experience has been really amazing not only because of what we've gone through, but listening to the women's stories.
Absolutely.
You've created a place where people can look and say, my God, women are so dynamic and so formidable and so vibrant. And, there have been guests who have come on and I thought, oh, okay, I think I know the story here. And then they open up and you're like, oh my God, of course, there's so much to us.
Yeah.
There's so much more to us. And I think I've learned so much from them and from you. And so I just want to thank all the guests.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for trusting us. And we hope that we do you proud.
Yeah.
And also, I want to give you your flowers. You're an incredible person, an incredible host. This is your idea, Nalani. And look, we're here. We're here. We're doing it. We did it. And you get to see it go on and do great things. I know it's going to do great things. And I'm just really grateful that I was able to be a part of it. And I love you. And I just, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of us.
I am so proud of us. And I will tell you every day that this is, like I gave you that hug earlier. This wouldn't have been possible without you. You are a true partner. This is our venture together. And thank you for nurturing also and reminding me that, you remind me all the time that this is my idea and that this is you.
The truth.
You helped, but you have helped me own that, to own that truth for myself, to tell, you remind me all the time that do not forget this is yours and your vision and your flowers, how you want every little detail. You've allowed me to say, yes, I'm sprinkling. This is Nalani. And I have felt completely safe and nurtured. And this is a shout out also to you and Courtyard Entertainment from really supporting a creative, a director, from inception, ideation to production to execution. You are a boss, and you really know how to guide and keep us grounded in this journey. But we could keep talking forever, but we wanted to squeeze in this little episode for all of you guys so you can know who's behind this. She's always there listening, watching, emailing, everything. And I wanted to make sure we got to hear your story and your voice. And are there any final closing thoughts you would like to share before we wrap this bonus?
I don't think so, except for Lucha Media is amazing.
Los hermanos, los queremos muchísimo. Un chingón, güey. Un chingón.